18th of June 2001, I joined the British Transport Police. Absolutely loved it. The pride I had walking around in that uniform, it felt really good. I remember the day very clearly, 7/7. We were sitting in the police station at Stratford when suddenly a radio call came through of an explosion. We've head straight to Aldgate, and I remember pulling up outside and seeing walking wounded walking out of the station, thinking, God, what's going on here? And it was still being reported as a power surge explosion at this time. And it was upon our arrival that I heard on the radio, I can confirm, this is a bomb, this is a bomb. As I walked into the tunnel, the first thing that I can remember seeing was a body laying across the second set of lines and people walking past, and I said, what about this guy? And the reply was, leave him, he's dead.
With little time to adjust to the almost unimaginable scenes of devastation around him, Paul was asked to respond to the possibility of a second explosive that was feared to have been planted on a nearby train.
We were told to go and conduct a search of this other train, which was an awful thing when you've seen what has happened on the first train and how it's been left to be then sent onto another train to search because they think there's a secondary device on there. And walking through that train not knowing what you're going to find is really scary.
Mercifully, Paul's exhaustive search found the second train to be clear of any explosives, but his memories of that day remain as distressing as ever.
When we eventually came out, the last survivor was brought out, and I remember it was a lady, and I stood there with my sergeant, and we looked at the lady, and there were just skeletal remains of her legs still attached, and we looked at each other, and he said to me, she ain't gonna make it. And I was just like, my God, this is absolutely, that was the first time it really hit me as to what has actually gone on here.
After suffering this horrendous ordeal, Paul's behaviour began to change, and it soon started to impact on his life and his relationships.
My wife started to notice that I was drinking heavily. The anger started to spill over into everyday life as well. And I don't, yeah. It cost me my marriage, mate. It cost me my marriage.
With first his marriage and then his job with the police breaking down, there was seemingly no end in sight to Paul's suffering.
I prescribed sleeping tablets when I was first left the police, and I've gone as far as to sit there with them on the worktop with a bottle of wine and contemplating, could I do this? Is this the easy way out? Rather than live with this and deal with this every day of the week.
Paul has never returned to Aldgate station since that day in July 2005, and Nick and Eva are keen to assess just how badly he's affected by his past traumas.
On a scale out of 10, how would you gauge your anxiety right now?
8 to 9. Right, just give me a minute. I've just seen the sign of the station for the first time, so...
Can you walk any further, Paul?
Yeah, yeah, we'll try.
Is this the closest you've been?
I just remember everything at the front. There was a field hospital set up at the front, under that canopy, where they were treating people. It was some of the most horrific injuries I've ever seen.
Do you want to go any further, or do you want to leave it here?
No. Come on, we've seen enough, come on. Well done. Before 7/7, you looked at your life in a certain way. After 7/7, you look at it in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes or no? Did you do your job?
Yes.
If someone asked me, what do you think about Paul, I would say that he's always done his best. Is that fair comment?
Yeah, I've tried. Yeah.
But the one thing that you never considered and you weren't prepared for that day is to die. Paul, you were frightened for your life then. You've been frightened ever since. When we took you down to the station today and you saw the sign, you still had an expectation there was a device in there.
Yeah, quite possibly. I've never looked at it that way.
If that device existed, you would have found it. Would you not?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay.
And when you were searching for that secondary device, you've never stopped searching.
You didn't find it that day, and you're not going to find it.
Never looked at it that way, ever.
So am I right in saying there's nothing to be frightened of anymore?
Yeah.
Have you got a bit of a smile going on there?
Yeah, I have.
And Paul, I know we saw how tough it was for you. I mean, life really got so bad. I mean, it was just
It was a daily battle.
terrible.
It really
It
yeah.
was. And did you find that because you were a copper, everybody expected you just to, you know, you should be fine?
Yeah, there's a whole culture of people not wanting to make a big thing about it and just carry on as normal. Whole culture of it, which is still going on now.
I know, which is crazy, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
absolutely crazy.
And for you
should...
guys, I mean, you have worked with many people now, especially on this show, and we've seen the results. When you first met Paul, I mean, we can just see that just watching a 4-minute VT, how crippling this has been for him.
It was heartbreaking to see, because this guy went in saving lives, and he came out having saved lives, and yet
His own one was falling,
it was falling
apart around him.
It was
wasn't it?
very, very hard to watch.
It really was. Well, should we take a look? I think we should. I think we should take a look
Yeah.
at how you got on when you actually visited Aldgate Tube Station on Monday.
How do you feel?
Absolutely fine at the moment. It's really strange, because I can remember how bad it was last time. I've got absolutely no anxiety at all.
You're only smiling.
I can feel it, yeah.
This is the point where you said, I can't go any further.
That's right, yeah.
You stopped us
yeah.
here. How do you feel? Ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
Come on, let's go.
It's a big thing. This is. Here we go.
Oh, emotion.
It is, yeah. You can feel the emotion. I can feel the emotion now. Knowing that one of those names on there was a person that I've had the reoccurring thoughts about for years and years, nearly 10 years now. It is almost like a bit of closure.
Well done.
It's almost like I've been given my life back and a clean slate, ready to go again.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah, it's
Right.
honestly, I can't thank you enough.
Gosh, you just said there that's a brilliant photo. That's a photograph I think you never in a million years would
Never in a million years, no. I never thought that.
remarkable. So what was it that made you do that?
Just the confidence
That you
to
were
go
given?
into it. Yeah, not even whatever Nick and Eva managed to do with me. It's just completely changed my outlook on life and the way that I look at things. I've got no anxiety anymore. It's just amazing. They've given me my life back, and I can't. Like I said in the VT, I can't thank them enough.
Well, look, this is just so... look, guys, you know I've always been your biggest supporters, and I always think you're wonder workers. But it's really strange how you actually got in touch, because you helped a previous colleague of Paul's, Russell, I believe it was, and that's how you got in touch with him, because you knew about his story and you wanted to try and help.
Yeah.
He's been through all of this, attempted suicide, the breakdown of his marriage. You had 15 therapy sessions, didn't you, funded by the police as part of your job, but it didn't really do anything for you.
It served a purpose at the time. It was more a case of putting a plaster over an injury,
Yeah.
really. It was never going to be a long-term fix.
And you said one session with the Speakmans changed my life.
It did, with one session, without a doubt. And it's almost like I could feel a change happening during the therapy as we were going through it.
Was it about giving you confidence? I mean, I'm so intrigued by the fact that
It was about almost changing the way that I looked at things. I complicated things so much with the way I overthought everything and looked at things. And Nick and Eva just basically pressed the reset button and completely changed how I looked at things and simplified things so much.
And what did you do?
Do you know what? I think the big key was that Paul was having flashbacks, he was having nightmares, and it was all about the carnage, basically, of what had happened. And that was, all the therapy he'd had was concentrating on that, whereas what we considered, and you'd not even thought about it before, was the fact that it wasn't that, because you'd seen that before in your job anyway, to various degrees, but it was the fact that you were searching for that second device.
It was that really that created, because at that moment it was the first time that Paul's life was in danger.
Yes.
You know, he was searching another train, looking for quite some time for a secondary device, and every bag that he opened,
And any moment,
and every moment, potentially, that could have been the end of his life. But he, like I said, he did sort of overcomplicate things and was thinking about what he saw as to actually what he felt, and I think that was a really big revelation for him. But for us, working with Paul has just been, it's just been so rewarding, because he's so brave to share his journey.
Well, what people don't get to see at home is I was just looking at you guys off camera, watching the first VT that we showed, and just the three of you together, it's just... Obviously, we knew what had happened, and we're so glad that you've got your life back on track now,
Yeah, that's
you
what
know.
I said.
And
I can't thank Nick and Eva and the team this morning here for what you've given me.
and we can't thank you enough for speaking out.
And you look like
well.
a different person.
I feel like a different
You really
person.
do. You're
I'm positive moving forward.
Excellent.
Everything in life looks so good now.
Well,
Oh,
thank
it's
you for coming in.
brilliant. Thank you
Guys,
so
thank
much.
you, and we'll see you again really soon.
you.